so this is the Chompy.
That's Chompy.
That's Chompy, man. Oh man, I got Chompy. All right, cool.
So we're mostly gonna be working on our native application over the next 6 months and building out a mobile app. So that's kind of what I'm personally most excited about. We are building a new type of information market that we are now calling vibe markets.
All right. We are here back with the skyline. Oh my God, dude. New York City, man. That skyline, city of dreams. I mean, like, I don't know what other motivation you want. I don't know what else you want. You guys want some motivation? You guys want some alpha? I brought Chomp. I brought Isaac. He's gonna give us everything going down right now on Chomp. And Isaac, you got 30 seconds. Who are you and what are you building?
So I'm Isaac. I'm one of the co-founders of Chomp. We are building a new type of information market that we are now calling vibe markets that also help create a more trustworthy form of media.
I love it. Vibe markets, man. Dude, all the vibe marketing and all that stuff like that I've been seeing on the timeline. Tell me about it. Like, what does it really mean? Because like there's so many times that people are like, what is really like vibe coding? What is vibe markets? What is all this stuff? Internet capital markets is like what's all over the timeline. So give me the TLDR.
Yeah, so vibe markets are slightly different. It's like vibe coding, you know, people are just kind of like throwing the stuff into the LLM, popping it into Cursor, popping it into Windsurf, running the code, seeing what happens. They're kind of generating, you know, a bunch of alright code that kind of does the thing, but a lot of it's unnecessary. So we call them vibe markets because they get at what people believe, like these hidden pieces of information that people don't necessarily share. You know, what they believe about what other people believe. And we incentivize them to be directly honest in these markets. And so we really directly get at the vibes of the participants in these markets.
Bro, dude, you sound like this is not your first time interview. I could tell because you're just.
This is actually the first time I'm pushing this narrative out.
Because you're vibing right now, man.
Dude, I mean, what else could we be doing out here?
Bro, give me like how the inspiration to build this. Like, where did you find this? Like, how did you guys like come together and say like this is what's needed right now?
Yeah, so my co-founder KZ and I met at a Solana hacker house in Berlin in August of 2023 and kind of vibed over some of our like theses about crypto, life in general. So like blockchains are, you know, like the single greatest opportunity in all of human history to explore large-scale coordination mechanisms. And we both care a lot about like the information, kind of the things going on in the world that are really suboptimal. And a lot of that has to do with like people not being on the same page just about things and what, you know, they think, what other people think. And so we set out to kind of create a kind of a consensus mechanism for information that could bring people together, help people confront their biases. And so I think in like January of 2024, I read this paper that had been published in Nature in 2017 about this algorithm called Surprisingly Popular. And we were like, we can turn this into a game. We can use it. We can set incentives around this to bring out honesty. And that was kind of it. It was just like, all right, let's fucking do it.
Man, like, dude, I'm over here a little stunned right now because what a timeline, right? And to like say where you are today. Like, where are we now in the stage of life? Like, are we still very early in what you're building? Are we able to say right now, hey, you need to head over to Chomp right now. You got to get in, and why be early?
Yeah, so we are kind of winding down the app a little bit right now, but definitely come test it out. Would love everyone's feedback. Like, feedback is the most valuable resource that we could possibly have. We love maximizing the amount of information that we get from our users and just talking to them and you know, understanding what they think about Chomp and how they think it could be improved. But yeah, we're definitely still pretty early. So like our next stage is we're actually going to be building out a native app over the next, you know, like 6-ish months and pushing that to iOS and really going after a more Web 2 audience and kind of trying to create more of a culture around like, hey, like we actually care about what other people think, because like one of the biggest pieces of feedback that we get from our users is they really like seeing the content, really like seeing the answers and seeing, you know, how other people answered. And That's really valuable. And so we want to take that to kind of the entire world. And so we're very early in that process.
Where do you see the fit with Web 2? It's very rare to actually speak to a Web 3 founder and have them mention users in Web 2. And I love that you're mentioning them because you're very much thinking outside the bubble that we live in, crypto Twitter bubble. And I love that you look, hey, in order for us to grow, in order for us to get to like maximize users, we have to think outside. Tell me like what you're thinking when it comes down to the Web 2 user and why you want to target them and why you want to speak their language.
Yeah, so our goal is really to bring better information and better media to like the entire world. Like our goal is to bring people together, like wherever they are, whoever they are, it doesn't really matter. And we can do that through what people believe because there's so many contradictions, there's so many arguments, like, no, this is right, no, this is right. And if you kind of get at what people believe and what they believe about what other people believe, you can start to have these like really, really valuable conversations between people who might not have that conversation otherwise. And so like that's really our goal, is to bring that to the entire world. And we really primarily use blockchains and crypto because it's a good backend infrastructure, right? Like we want to create markets, we want to create incentives. And so to do this, like blockchains are just the easiest place to do that. I've been around crypto since like 2015, and these things are really powerful, but they are really good infrastructure and it's good for the back end. The front end doesn't have to be, crypto focused. We can abstract a lot of these things away. And it doesn't really matter where the users come from. Like our goal is to bring people together, like full stop. That's it.
Yeah, no, I think that's just very important that you've already like thought about what your business plan and who the actual audience is, because I could tell you how many Web3 games or Web3 projects, Web3, protocols are out there. And it's like, wait, we want users outside of Web3? But we use these words, NFT, crypto, it's all a scam, and like all these things are a scam out there. So it's like, it's great that you're already kind of thinking, hey, how do we target them? What language should we speak? And like, what's going to be the easiest way to onboard them, right? Because onboarding is still what I think the biggest issue in Web3. I don't care how many people tell me, oh, Jorge, there's all these great things. God, you go from one chain to another chain and you have to like connect the wallet, bridge it, then swap. Next thing you know, you need more token from like that native token. Like, man, it's like a spaghetti. Like you actually need like a law degree sometimes. And like, it's why I believe like, there are certain things like why Solana has been just absolutely destroying right now is because of how easy it's gotten to onboard onto Solana. So I have to ask, $1 million question. Are you ready?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Why Solana?
Best UX. Very simple.
Man, talk about a mic drop, man. He just like went straight out. I love it. You mentioned you met your co-founder at a hacker house. Talk to us a little bit about that. Like, how did you guys come together? And like this idea, you mentioned about how you guys got together in the sense of like getting the idea, but how did the hacker house, like why were you at a hacker house?
So I've been going to hacker houses since 2021, or 2022 was actually my first one. So I was living in LA at the time, went to the LA hacker house, moved back to New York a couple months later, and just kind of went to, I don't know, like 7 or 8 hacker houses, probably maybe 10 over the next like couple years. I was doing like mechanism design for a bunch of different clients around the space, kind of like doing consulting work. And so they were valuable for me to, meet clients, meet people, network, but also just see what people are building, which was super exciting. And I met KZ and she was at Orca at the time and we were kind of talking about some Orca stuff. And then we just kind of like, went tangentially off into like these things that we believe and ended up talking for like hours and hours and hours about
love
these
at
things.
First sight, man.
Yeah,
love it.
Absolutely. Couldn't love her more.
Yeah. No, man, that's awesome to hear. And I love that, hacker houses, people always talk about them and I'm like, this is exactly why, how easy it is to connect in the Solana ecosystem, how easy it is to be able to grow in the Solana ecosystem. Like I can't tell you, like it's why it's so important to get involved in Solana is because the opportunities are there. Like I always get, oh, Jorge, like I feel like I need a lot of money for, I'm like, you don't need any money. You just need to know how to hit the send button, because there's so many people that are afraid to hit the send DM and say, hey, like love to learn about your project. Creators hate hitting the record button. Like it's really hard. And I'm like, yeah, man, you just have to hit the record and that's it. And just get behind the camera. So it's great to hear like as a founder, like, hey man, I showed up, I met somebody, we had the idea, came together and now we're here. Like, New York City skyline, man.
It's that easy.
All right, Accelerate's happening this week. What are you most excited about right now?
Actually, one of the things I'm most excited about is like right over there, the D-Science Fair. So I come from a science background. My original background is neuroscience. I was an economics PhD after that. And so I care a lot about science, and there's just a ton of problems in science in general. Like a ton of problems, like the whole replication crisis, like there's so many problems. And so like I'm very excited to see people like working on these problems. And you know, they're related to kind of what we do through information. But I think that's something that I'm particularly like really excited about because I pay a lot of attention to kind of what goes on in STEM and in these research areas, and would love to start seeing sort of the incentive mechanisms and the markets to be created to make better outcomes in that world.
Do I hear a Chomp, possibly slight maybe verge into science then?
I mean, maybe at one point, like we're mostly focused right now on really getting people to have conversations, and you know that can be about science at one point in the future, absolutely. And I hope that we can support that in some way. We're not explicitly working on science, but you know, I have a very, very, very deep love for science. I've spent way too much time reading papers and doing things like that. So I care a lot about this world, and yeah, just super excited.
Yeah. You know, I think like you're mentioning, science. I'm really excited about everything that's happening to Accelerate New York City, dude. New York City. You know New York City. So tell me, what should we tell the people that are watching this? Like, hey, if you're in New York City, you need to go try this pizza or this hot dog, or you need to go sightseeing.
Go to your local deli and get a bacon, egg, and cheese with a hash brown.
Woo! Bacon, dude. I think you're gonna have to take me after this.
Let's do it.
Hey, man. Look, man. I think we got to talk a lot about what you're building, how you guys met, the path, the development. Now let's go into first of all, like the plushie. I gotta like, how did this come about?
That was a lot of labor of love of my co-founder KZ, who worked super hard on getting this thing to be like the cutest little alligator we've ever seen, and it's been incredible for us. Like people love it. We actually had somebody who was like on the verge of tears, wanting to get one so badly, and every time we go, we have them at events, people are like, I want a Chompy, I want a Chompy, I want a Chompy. And so
this is the Chompy.
That's Chompy.
That's Chompy, man. Oh man, I got Chompy. All right, cool. Look, we covered a little bit of Chompy now, but tell me about the game now. Let's go into that a little bit. Again, coming from the gaming sector, I mean, this is what really excites me. So give me the 411 on Chompy and the game.
Yeah, so the reason that we chose to build a game is that there's actually a couple reasons. So one of the main reasons is like markets themselves are very useful and great, but they don't generalize well. Like, your normal person, you're George in Alabama, your guy in, Africa, Australia, they don't necessarily want to participate in markets. They don't really know how to, so you see like Polymarket, you got all these things going on. It's very confusing, and it's a lot for first-time users. And so one of the really big things for us is abstracting all of these components away, so it's very easy to participate in. And so that's kind of why we went down the game route. And then, a mobile game, there are also a lot of other ways to kind of retain people, to keep them in the loops, and to keep them, using the application. So like incentives are great, but they're not the only way that we can modify behavior. So like incentives operate actually on perceptions, not behavior itself. So it changes perceptions of a payoff of a behavior, and then you'll take that behavior based on your perception of that payoff. And there's actually a lot of other ways to modify perception through games as well, whether that's, hey, you get like a mystery box, or like, hey, there's new content, or hey, like, you want to get your streaks. And these things are very powerful at, bringing users back, keep giving them more ways to have fun, enjoy. And even though it's a market, maybe, you lose some money here, you win some money there, there's all of these other things going on that give you this really positive user experience.
As you've rolled this out and you've been, what has been that game loop within the rollout that you've been kind of like, oh my God, people got it. Like, oh my God, this is working. Like, what has been the aha moment with it?
Yeah, so we actually have a user who has used Chomp every single day since we launched on June 3rd of last year. So almost 365 days at this point. And so we have new content coming out every day, questions for people to answer, that is, relevant to the things going on in crypto, relevant to the things going on in the world, random stuff about, you know, like whether or not cereal is soup or whether or not this photo was AI generated. And so like that kind of like daily content of, hey, like we're doing this every single day and you can come back every day for like a slightly different experience. And so this is actually something we think about a lot, is there's two kind of like biases that we have as humans that we play into. So it's both novelty and familiarity. So like you think about like all the games that get created, like the most successful games are both novel and very familiar. So like, you think about a game of Fortnite, right? You play on the same map, you have roughly the same weapons, but each game that you play is completely novel and unique. You use the same controls, but your entire experience in that particular game is unique. And so we think a lot about trying to create that kind of a sandbox structure. And that becomes really valuable for the user experience, because every time they come on, they're doing the same things, they know what to do, but each day is really a new experience.
Oh man, I really love that, and shout out to the person that's been 365 days, like that VIP, like beyond, you know, like. Dude,
incredible.
At this point, man, yeah, they might be the next person we send a DM to. Hey, you mentioned cereal or soup. That's like a hot take, man.
I feel very strongly that cereal is soup. It's food suspended in liquid.
Bro, are you serious?
100%.
What? Can you believe this? I don't know, man. I have a, okay. But like soup, you have to warm up and you have to cook.
There's totally cold soups. Gazpacho.
I don't know, guys. Chat, I don't know.
Let us know what you think.
Let us know what you think. What's your handle?
Snow me, SNO_MIS.
There you go. You got his handle. You know how to attack him, because you know crypto Twitter will attack you. It's great.
Bring it on. I will argue for days.
We might have to become keyboard warriors. Oh man, that's really awesome to hear. And look, I think the hot take's great. So we're here once again. It's going to be a long week, but Abu Dhabi 6 months away, right? Breakpoint. What are you looking forward to the next 6 months in the Solana ecosystem with what you're building?
So we're mostly gonna be working on our native application over the next 6 months and building out a mobile app that will hopefully have like some tests for around there, if not like the app live by then. So that's kind of what I'm personally most excited about, where I'll be kind of like heads down doing a lot of that over the next few months. But you know, as always, just really excited to see how people progress. There's a lot of really cool things going on in our industry, in our little ecosystem, and you know, every time you go to a conference and you get to see people and, you know, see the updates and see how things progress, it's really awesome. I mean, like this particular one, there's a lot of, you know, things that I'm personally interested in, like mechanism design stuff. They had a talk yesterday about like the new consensus protocol that's going to be proposed for Solana, and so like those things are really cool, and they, you know, make not just, you know, Solana better, but all of us better. Because we get to, you know, have conversations, see how people grow, see what works, and share all of that with each other. And so these events are like super valuable for us, because you don't necessarily get to have all this conversation and see everyone all the time, but hearing the updates, hearing what works, hearing what doesn't, kind of like going back and forth, shooting the shit, is just like one of the greatest things about this industry, because everyone's just willing to have a conversation and talk, no matter really who they are or where they're from.
Hey man, I texted you a week ago about, hey, you want to hop on an interview on one-on-one, and here we are, man.
Here we are.
That's how easy it is. All I had to do was hit the send button.
Just hit that send button.
Hey,
it's that easy.
It's that easy. Oh man, I love that take as well of like, hey, why it's important to be at conferences. A lot of people usually hesitate about wanting to be at conferences, and I think like this is the best FaceTime you could ever get.
Yeah, I agree. Like that's kind of how I got into this industry. Like I've been following the industry since like 2015 and started going to conferences in probably 2021. And you know, I was still in school at the time and kind of dropped out of my PhD. I forgot my master's and was like, this is kind of what I want to do with my life now. And just showed up, and the rest is history.
Yeah. I love that you kind of said you dropped out and then you came into this space, because every time I say that in my family, they're like, there's our dropout, and now
there's the dumbass.
Now he's in Web3, like with some fake internet money, and I'm just like,
magical internet money beans. We love it.
And I'm like, If you only knew my magical internet money, well, how much it's stacked. But I will let you make sure you keep giving me presents and giving me money to go and feel bad for me, because I have no problem with that. Oh, man. Look, I love that you gave us the take on the conference and where we're here. Abu Dhabi, will I see you there?
Absolutely.
So we got to run it back then.
Let's do it.
And when we run it back, man, you got to check out the app. We got to showcase the app, right?
Yeah, so our PWA is currently live, and that will still be live. But yeah, building out the native app is really the thing that we're going to be working on, the thing that we're really excited about. And hopefully we'll have a version of that by Breakpoint. We'll see.
Oof. All right, man. Now, so I'll see you in Abu Dhabi.
100%.
All right, man. I'm excited, man. And we got to figure out what to do with the locals over there. Because we know New York City, we know the bacon, egg, and cheese. Is it bacon or sausage?
Bacon, come on.
Bacon. Why not sausage, man? Here's another hot take, guys. 1, 2, 3, go.
Bacon is just a better meat. There's just not really a competition there.
The man who said cereal is a soup, now he's telling you bacon is better.
Bacon is arguably the best meat.
Man, I don't know, guys. All right, man. Give me the plug. Where to find Chomp? How to follow it? You know, what's the website? What's the app? Give me like the whole like plug on it.
Yeah, app.chomp.games in your fandom browser if you want to go use it today. Chomp.games on Twitter. Join our Telegram. That's probably the best place to join the community and kind of get, frequent updates about what's going on and what we're doing. Also have lots of fun conversations. If you want to argue with me about whether or not cereal is soup, definitely join the Telegram. Yeah.
I love it. Guys, Skyline here with Isaac, who's been awesome. Appreciate you coming on and talking a little bit about Chomp. Until the next one.